Welcome back for another deep dive with us.
Always fun to dig into something new.
Yeah, well, this time we're looking at this concept
I
called a personal impact development plan,
Oh, interesting.
which it's often shortened to PIDP.
Gotcha. PIDP.
And
Okay.
it's based on an article I found in Business and Society Journal. And it just really got me thinking about,
Yeah.
how we can all have,
Right.
more of a positive impact on the world,
Totally. Yeah.
especially when it comes to, the business world
Mm.
and society as a whole.
Yeah. It's interesting how this article kind of compares these PIDPs to the performance management strategies
Yeah.
we see all the time, in companies.
Yeah.
But instead of just, individual performance,
Mm.
it shifts the focus
Mhm.
to something much bigger.
It's less about,
Your impact.
yeah,
Yeah.
less about climbing the ladder, more about making a difference.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that
Yeah.
I thought was really cool about it is they emphasize that this isn't just for academics.
Yeah.
It's something that anybody
Yeah. It's a practical framework for anyone.
can use to make a positive impact regardless of their field.
Exactly.
So, I mean,
So as we're diving into this,
right.
I want you to think about what you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Who do you want to impact?
Right.
What kind of change do you want to see?
Uh-huh.
Because the article starts off with this really interesting question.
Oh, wait.
It asks, are you serious about impact?
Oh.
Because if you are,
Yeah.
it takes more than just good intentions.
Right.
You need a plan.
You got to have a plan.
Exactly.
And that's where
And that's where the PIDP comes in.
Yeah.
It's like a roadmap
yeah,
to make that impact happen.
for your impact journey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it helps you figure out exactly
Mm-hmm.
what and who you want to impact and why that's important.
Right. And then from there, it helps you figure out what skills you need
Yes.
to actually make that impact.
And one of the things that really stood out to me was
Yeah.
how they break impact down into these 6 key competencies.
Yes.
It's like this checklist
It is. It's a great way to think about it.
if you really want to make a difference.
Totally.
So we've got the reflective competencies, the communicative competencies,
Mm-hmm.
and the behavioral competencies.
That's right.
And let's start with the reflective competencies.
Okay.
So these are all about
Uh-huh.
self-awareness and understanding your motivations.
Right. So the first one
Yeah.
is understanding your own motivation for impact.
Okay.
Like what really drives you
Right.
to make a difference.
So you got to dig deep
Yeah.
into those values.
Totally. Like ask yourself,
Yeah.
what issues actually fire me up?
Right.
You know?
What keeps you going?
Whose lives do I want to touch?
Yeah.
Those kind of questions.
And then the second,
Or reflective competence.
the second one focuses on
Yeah.
what they call impact qualities.
Okay.
And this is all about taking stock of your strengths,
Mhm.
your weaknesses,
Sure.
and the skills you already have
Yeah.
that can help you make that impact.
So it's about what do you bring to the table
Exactly.
and what maybe needs a little work.
Yeah, what needs a little polishing.
So once you've kind of done that soul searching
Right.
and you've identified the strengths,
Yeah.
it's time to move on to those communicative competencies.
Yeah, I love these.
Yeah. And these are all about connecting with others
Mm-hmm.
and effectively sharing your work,
Right.
like getting the word out
Exactly.
about what you're doing.
The article calls them
Okay.
networking for impact
Uh,
and impact circulating.
I like that.
Yeah.
Impact circulating.
So networking for impact is about
Okay.
building relationships
Right.
with all sorts of different people,
Yeah.
individuals and groups
Right.
who can help amplify
Okay.
so it's about like,
It's about
do I have connections
Yeah.
with the communities or organizations
Yeah.
that I want to affect?
Right.
And then impact circulating.
Yeah. That's all about getting your work out there,
Okay.
sharing it, all sorts of channels.
Like what kind of channels are we talking about?
We're talking academic journals,
Uh-huh.
social media, traditional media,
Okay.
even reaching out to
Right.
practitioners in your field,
So it's really about
making sure the people who need to hear your message
yes,
actually hear it.
getting it out there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've reflected on our motivations.
Right.
We've thought about our strengths and weaknesses.
Mhm.
We've, honed our communication skills.
Yep.
Now it's time
Now it's time to get our hands dirty.
to roll up our sleeves
That's right.
and get things done.
This is where those behavioral competencies come in.
Okay, so tell me about those.
So these are all about
Okay.
taking action, and they're called impact exploration
Okay.
and impact control.
So the first one, impact exploration.
Yeah, that's all about actively looking for opportunities
Okay.
to make a difference.
Like, are you out there
Yeah, are you keeping your eyes peeled for
course.
ways to apply your skills?
to really make a change?
Yeah.
Okay, and then impact control.
That's about being proactive
Okay.
about shaping your impact.
So you're not just waiting for things to happen.
You're not just hoping for the best.
You're making them happen.
You're setting goals, you're making plans,
Okay.
you're learning new skills.
Or in control.
You're taking charge.
I like that.
You're steering your
Fine.
impact in the direction you want it to go.
And I love how this article
Yeah,
goes beyond just the theory.
right.
And they give you some specific activities
Yeah, they have some great
that
suggestions.
you can do to strengthen each competency.
Totally.
For example,
Yeah.
they suggest finding a mentor
Ooh, that's a good one.
who really understands
Someone who's been there, done that.
this concept of impact,
Yay.
who's walked the walk
Exactly.
and can guide you on your journey
Totally.
and share their experience.
They also suggest getting some on-the-job training
Oh,
from a peer who's already making a big impact.
So somebody who can kind of show you the ropes
Exactly.
and give you some practical insights
That's right.
into how to make a real difference.
Yeah.
And for those in academia,
Mm-hmm.
they have this intriguing idea
Yeah.
of spending a sabbatical
Ooh, I like that.
doing applied research
Okay.
within an organization.
So getting out of the ivory tower
Right.
and into the real world.
And seeing how your research can actually
Exactly.
have real world impact.
Yeah.
And now here's a really
Mm.
important point.
Okay.
They emphasize
Mm-hmm.
that creating impact doesn't happen in a vacuum.
It doesn't. You need support.
You need a supportive environment
Right. You can't do it alone.
to really thrive.
And they talk about how everyone,
All
from
right.
professional organizations
Mhm.
to university leaders,
Right.
really has a role to play in creating that culture
Right.
that values impact.
Yeah, so they're saying that like professional organizations
Yeah.
need to shift their focus
Right.
from just rewarding publications
Mm-hmm.
to recognizing
And rewarding.
and rewarding impactful work,
Yeah.
and that university leaders should lead by example
They should.
by developing their own PIDPs
Yes.
and giving
Providing resources and support
Yes, and support.
to the faculty who are
Mhm.
trying to make an impact.
So it's about accountability, but it's also about support.
Exactly.
So people feel empowered to
total.
go after these goals.
It's about creating that environment where
Yeah.
people can thrive.
And one really interesting tool that they talk about is
Yeah.
the feed forward interview.
Oh, that caught my eye too.
Yeah. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, let's dig into that.
I'm intrigued.
Okay, so it's a really cool idea. Instead of, focusing on what went wrong in the past,
Yeah.
it encourages you to look at your successes,
Okay.
particularly your impact successes.
Oh, interesting.
And it asks you to really think about,
Yeah.
what made those efforts so successful.
So you're looking at what worked well
Exactly.
and how can you repeat that?
Right. It's like extracting that winning formula
Uh-huh.
from your own experience.
Turning hindsight into foresight.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
So we've talked about these 6 key competencies.
Yeah,
The importance of having a supportive environment
right.
to maximize your impact.
Totally.
But how do we actually put all this into practice?
Yeah, how do we actually...
How do we go from theory to action
Right.
and create a personal impact development plan that actually works?
Well, the good news is
Okay.
the article gives you a template.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, and we'll be sure to include a link to that in the show notes.
Awesome.
And it might seem a little formal.
At first glance,
Mhm.
but it's really just a way to
Mhm.
organize your thoughts
Right.
and map out what you want to do.
So it's kind of like a roadmap
Yeah,
for
exactly.
your impact journey.
That's a great way to think about it.
So where do we even begin?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
what are the first steps?
The first thing the template asks you to do
Okay.
is identify which of those 6 competencies
Uh-huh.
you really want to focus on.
So you don't have to do all 6 at once.
You don't have to tackle them all at once.
You can pick and choose.
Yeah, start with 1 or 2
Okay.
that really resonate with you.
Yeah, the ones that you feel like, okay, I need to work on this.
Or I really want to make a more conscious effort.
I could grow in this area.
Exactly.
Okay, so you've identified your target competencies.
Right.
What's next?
Then you brainstorm
Okay.
specific developmental activities
Okay.
for each competency.
So this is where you can get creative
Right.
and think outside the box. Yeah. What actions can you take
Yeah.
to really strengthen those skills?
Do you have any examples from the article?
Oh, yeah. Tons.
I-
Like for networking for impact,
Yeah.
they suggest going to conferences,
Wow.
joining professional organizations.
Right.
But it could also be as simple as
Yeah.
reaching out to someone you admire and just asking for an informational interview
Right,
just to pick their brain,
I like it.
just build those connections.
Okay, what about impact circulating?
So for impact circulating,
Hey.
they suggest exploring all sorts of different mediums
Okay.
to share your work. So
Wow.
maybe try writing blog posts,
Uh-huh.
maybe create some videos,
Okay.
maybe give guest lectures
Right.
to audiences outside of academia.
Getting it out there.
Sure.
Different ways.
Yeah.
And impact exploration.
Impact exploration is
Yeah.
all about actively seeking out those opportunities.
So how do you actively do that?
Well,
How do you seek those out?
there's so many ways.
Yeah.
You could set up Google alerts
Okay.
for keywords related to your field.
Mm-hmm.
You could attend industry events.
Yep.
You could volunteer
Right.
with organizations that are working on issues
Yeah.
you care about.
So being proactive about it.
Right, staying informed.
And I like how the template
Yeah.
also includes a section
Mhm.
where you can identify
Yeah,
resources and support that you might need.
right. Because you don't have to do it alone.
It's a good reminder that you don't have to do this alone,
You don't.
that there are people out there
Who can help you?
who can support you.
Absolutely.
So who are those people?
Right. And what resources can help you
Yeah.
amplify your impact?
Do you need funding
Maybe you need funding
to go to a conference?
to go to a conference.
Do you need a mentor
Maybe you need a mentor.
to give you some guidance?
Could a senior colleague help you out?
Do you need access to certain databases
Right. Do you need
or software
special software?
to help you conduct your work?
Exactly.
So it's really about recognizing what you need
Mhm.
and going out and getting it.
And asking for it.
So once you've identified your target competencies,
Right.
brainstormed activities,
Yeah.
gathered your resources,
What's next?
how do you actually put the plan into action?
The key is
Mhm.
setting realistic timelines
Got it.
for each those developmental activities.
So this is about accountability
It is.
and tracking your progress.
Right. And it can be easy to get overwhelmed
Right.
if you try to do too much at once.
If you don't break things down
Exactly.
into smaller steps.
So dream big,
Okay.
but keep it achievable
I like that.
within that time frame.
And the template also has a section
Mhm.
for documenting
Right.
evidence of your development.
Yeah, I love that part.
This is a way to celebrate your accomplishments
It is.
and reflect on your growth.
Acknowledge how far you've come
Yeah.
and give yourself some credit for all the hard work you're putting in.
So what kind of evidence are we talking about?
It could be all sorts of things.
Okay.
It could be publishing an article in a practitioner journal.
Uh-huh.
It could be presenting your work at a conference.
Okay.
It could be securing a grant,
Right.
or even just having a really meaningful conversation
Yeah.
with someone in your target audience.
So impact takes many forms.
It does.
It's not always this big, huge thing.
Not always.
It could be
Sometimes it's just about,
just engaging in dialogue
yeah,
or sharing your knowledge
exactly.
and documenting these achievements
Yeah,
also serves another purpose.
it does.
It gives you concrete examples
No,
that
I
you
can
can
say-
share
You can share with others.
with others, whether
Yeah.
it's during a performance review
Okay.
or a grant application
Right.
or just in a casual conversation.
It's like building a portfolio
Yeah.
of your impact
Of all the good you're
to
doing
show people.
and hopefully inspire others how you're making a difference
That's right.
and inspire them to do the same.
Now, here's the thing.
Okay.
Your PIDP isn't something you create once and forget about.
Right.
It's a living document.
It's a living, breathing thing.
It is. You need to review it,
Yeah.
update it regularly
As your goals change,
as your goals evolve,
as you learn new
as
things.
you gain new experiences.
And what I love about it
yeah.
is that it can be tailored
The
to your own interests,
to your unique
skills, and
spark
aspirations.
and aspirations.
Totally.
So we've really kind of broken down the what and the how
yeah.
of these PIDPs,
Yeah.
these roadmaps for making a real impact.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, like, what does all this really mean
Right.
for the listener,
Yeah. How does this actually change the game?
Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out.
I think for me, the biggest takeaway
Yeah.
is that it's about taking ownership.
Okay.
It's about not just, hoping you'll make a difference,
Okay.
but actually having a plan
Taking control.
to
Yeah.
make it happen.
Yeah. It's like that shift
It is.
from passive to active.
Exactly.
You're not just waiting
and not waiting
for
for anything to come our way.
opportunities. You're going out and making them happen.
Yes.
And it's about
And it's about using those strengths that you identify.
yeah, that self-awareness piece.
Right, because you're not trying to be
Yes.
someone else's version of impactful.
Right.
You're trying to be the best version
To be your best self.
of
Yeah.
yourself and make the impact.
And I think it's also important to remember that
Yeah.
impact doesn't have to be this grand world-changing thing.
No,
It can be
it can be small.
making a difference in your community,
Yeah, it could be mentoring a colleague,
sharing your knowledge,
being kind.
Being a good person
Right.
in your everyday interactions.
Sometimes those small actions
Right.
can have a ripple effect
Bigger than we realize.
we can't even imagine.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I want to leave our listener with a little challenge.
I like it.
Imagine looking back on your life years from now.
Okay.
What impact do you hope to see?
Mm-hmm.
And what's one thing,
Yeah.
just one specific step
One small step.
that you can take today
Today.
to start moving towards that vision?
Doesn't have to be anything huge.
Yeah.
Just one little thing
Write it down.
to get the ball rolling.
Put it on your calendar.
Commit to it.
Yeah, because that journey of 1,000 miles
Begins with a single step.
starts with that one step.
That's right.
Well, thanks for joining us
This was fun.
on this exploration of
Let's-
personal impact development plans.
I hope it was helpful for everyone.
I hope it sparked some ideas
Me too.
and inspired you to take charge
Yeah, take ownership.
of your own impact journey.
Remember, you have the power
Yes, you do.
to make a difference.
So start today
Start today.
and see where it takes you.
Exactly.